So friends, today we will discuss about the inseparable prepositions in Hebrew. So if we say there are inseparable prepositions, it is understood that there are separable prepositions as well. Okay. So our concentration today will be on inseparable preposition. That means the prepositions cannot be separated from the nouns. Or in other words, like how we have prefixed the definite article, the prepositions will be prefixed. Okay. So let's see how that happens. And first of all, let us see what are the inseparable prepositions. There are three basic inseparable prepositions in Hebrew. One is bet followed by simple vocal shiva, kaf followed by simple vocal shiva, and lamet followed by simple vocal shiva. Bet followed by simple vocal shiva can be translated as in, by, with, and other many meanings are also there. These are the basic meanings. Kaf followed by simple vocal shiva has the meaning like as, like, according to, and so on. And lamet followed by simple vocal shiva is to, for, and at. So you have to memorize the inseparable prepositions along with their basic meanings. So bet followed by simple vocal shiva, in, by, with. Kaf followed by simple vocal shiva, as, like, according to. And lamet followed by simple vocal shiva, to, for, and at. Just a minute. Now, how these inseparable prepositions appear along with the words or nouns. If you see here, these are some of the examples to show how the inseparable prepositions are prefixed. Let me read them one by one. Beshem. Okay, so there is an inseparable preposition and then you have a noun. So in a name. Beruach, by a spirit. Le shalom, for peace. Beben or beven, with a son. Ke davar, according to a word. Be'av, with a father. So the way how we prefix definite article, the inseparable prepositions also will be prefixed. But the thing is, there are also certain rules that we need to follow when we prefix the inseparable prepositions to the nouns. So now we will one by one see the rules regarding prefixing the inseparable prepositions to the nouns. So the inseparable prepositions are written with, the first rule is actually what I have said here. The inseparable prepositions are written as they appear. Okay, how they appear? This is how they appear. Bet followed by Shiva, Kaf followed by Shiva, Lamet followed by Shiva. So they are written as it is before the nouns whose initial consonant carries a full vowel. Okay, so these are the basic examples which we have seen. So the first rule is they are written as it is before the nouns whose initial consonant carries a full vowel. So that means the initial consonant can be a guttural or a non-guttural. That is not an issue. The initial consonant should carry a full vowel. For example, in Beshem, the initial consonant is shin, which is followed by its array. It is a full vowel. The second example, be ruach. The initial consonant is resh, followed by shurat, full vowel. The third example, le shalom. The initial consonant is shin, followed by a full vowel, kametz. And that is why the inseparable preposition is written as it is. When the initial consonant is bet, followed by a full vowel with a sun. Okay, davar. The initial consonant is dalet, followed by a full vowel, kametz. The last example, if you see, the initial consonant is guttural, but still it carries a full vowel. So along with the words whose initial consonant carries a full vowel, okay, the inseparable prepositions will be written as it is. That is the basic rule. Okay, so you see here, in the similar way how you have attached the definite article, inseparable prepositions are also attached. So the basic first rule is the inseparable prepositions are written as it is before the nouns that begin with either guttural or non-guttural, but should be followed by a full vowel, not half vowel. Half vowel is Shiva, Atef Pata, Atef Segol, Atef Kamets. Full vowel in the sense it can be either long or short. It can be Kamets or Pata, Segol or Sere. Kamets are two for Olam. Doesn't matter. But the initial consonant should carry a full vowel. The second rule is the inseparable prepositions are written with a vowel hirak. Okay, so that means this is the basic model, this is the basic pattern, but they can also appear with hirak. Okay, when they appear with hirak, they are written with the hirak before the consonants that appear with simple vocal shiva. Okay, so just look at the examples which I have given. Kaf is inseparable preposition which is written with the hirak. Why it is written with hirak? Because the initial consonant is having a simple vocal shiva. Perit is the word, and the initial consonant of this word is bet followed by simple vocal shiva. Okay, so now what happens when two shivas are there? Two vocal shivas cannot stand together because the shiva under kaf, the inseparable preposition, is also a vocal shiva, and the shiva under bet, berit, it is also a vocal shiva. So two vocal shivas cannot join together or stand together. These two shivas business will happen only in the middle of a word, where the first shiva will be a silent shiva closing the syllable, and the second shiva will be a simple vocal shiva opening a new syllable. But in the initial part of the word, you will not come across two vocal shivas. So that is why the first vocal shiva, which is under the inseparable preposition, is converted into a full vowel, especially becoming a hirak. And what happens to the next shiva? The next shiva, obviously, it will become a silent shiva only. Okay, so this you have to keep in mind. So the basic rule is inseparable prepositions, bet shiva, kaf shiva, lamet shiva, when they appear before a word whose initial consonant carries a simple vocal shiva, the shiva underneath the inseparable prepositions will become full vowel, that is hirak. And the shiva underneath the initial consonant, technically it will become a silent Shiva. So now if we read, this is actually, if read, it is a combination of Kaf Shiva plus Berit. And the outcome is presented here. Kaf receiving Hirak in the place of Shiva, you see Hirak. And Bet, which was carrying vocal Shiva, now it is become a silent Shiva because technically it is closing the syllable. Okay,
So I have a doubt here.
Yes, please.
How can this liferi be lifri? I mean, how can this be silent Shiva? Because it is preceded by a vowel, no, a full vowel, and there is no accent there. Only if it is preceded by a vowel, full vowel with an accent, then only you said it has to become silent Shiva. Otherwise, it will be vocal Shiva, no?
If there is an accent, it is a vocal Shiva. If there is an accent, that is, if there is metak, that is a, so, you will come across metak either with a long or short vowel before vocal Shiva. That is the rule. All right. Am I right? Yeah. And then there is one hint to find out whether a Shiva is a vocal Shiva or silent Shiva. This is not 100%, but more than 90%. If you see a short vowel before a Shiva, that short vowel will be a silent Shiva. All right. Now the question is, I have already said, when we come across Behet Kefat letter in between a word, okay, it can also begin a syllable, right? It can also begin a syllable. But when it can begin a syllable? Any idea? Behet Kefat letters, when they appear in the middle of a word, because Behet Kefat letters with Dagesh Lene can begin a syllable or begin a word.
With Dagesh Forte, if it is double?
No. See, Behet Kefat letters will begin a word or begin a syllable. Right?
When the previous verb carries a Shiva.
That should be a
Shiva.
That should be a silent
Shiva
or vocal.
before it. Silent Shiva.
That should be a silent Shiva.
Yes, then it will begin a syllable.
Exactly. See, for example, if you remember the word mishpat. Okay.
Mishpat.
Yeah, if you remember the word mishpat, in that mishpat, shin carries a Shiva, which is a silent Shiva. Then comes pe with a Dagesh Lene, right? It begins a new syllable. Okay. So in this case, if you see, it is not beginning a syllable. If Bet has to begin a syllable, then the previous letter should carry a silent Shiva. And in the initial word, this will not come.
So right? I still have that doubt because in the notes you have given points to remember in that vocal Shiva thing, chapter 2, you have said that it is in a parenthesis you have written a Shiva after an unaccented long vowel is always vocal. Unaccented. After an accented long vowel.
Long vowel.
So Hirak is not long.
Long vowel, right? So that is why I gave you a tip.
Hirak Yod is long vowel.
Hirak is a short vowel. Kamats is a short vowel. Segol is a short vowel. Giputs is a short vowel. Kamats Hatuf is a short vowel. All these are short vowels. Kamats.
Yeah, 4 short vowels are there.
Yeah, Tsere Yod. Hirak Yod.
5.
Kolam Vav. Shurak. All these are long vowels. Yeah.
So if it is a short vowel, the Shiva is silent, right?
Definitely. But that can become a vocal Shiva when that short vowel is carrying a methak. If you remember the rules which we have learned with regard to the methak, okay, so in that we have given that methak can appear either with a long or short vowel before the vocal Shiva. Okay, yes, please go through that rules. All right.
I'll go through the
So,
method.
yes, method rules later on, no problem. So if you see here, the point here is if the initial consonant is carrying a simple vocal Shiva, the inseparable prepositions cannot be prefixed as it is because the Shivas appearing under the initial consonant of the noun and the Shiva appearing under the inseparable preposition or vocal. Two vocal Shivas cannot join together or stand together. So that is why the first one is becoming Hirak and the second one is becoming silent in the course of time. Okay, so that is how these words we have formulated with the help of the
So then we should read it as Kibrit.
kivrit,
Kibrit. Kibrit. Okay.
kivrit.
Kibrit.
Yes. All right. Okay. So the next rule, which is actually a sub rule for the second point, the second rule. Okay. Always we have to be careful enough when we see a word that begins with yod followed by simple vocal Shiva. When we learned about the definite article also, we have learned that if yod is followed by a simple vocal Shiva, the definite article will be he followed by pata without dagesh forte. All right. So whenever this yod is beginning a word with simple vocal Shiva, there may be other changes which may take place when the inseparable preposition is added. Okay, so let me explain this to you. Yerushalayim. Okay, Yerushalayim, initial consonant yod followed by Shiva. And we would like to prefix the preposition bet followed by simple vocal Shiva. Okay, so technically what should happen? Tell me please.
Both the Shavas cannot stand at a time. So
Okay.
instead of Shavas, one Shavas will be one Shava reminds instead of Shava, the Irak will replace that.
Okay, so how will you pronounce it? Can you pronounce it?
Birushalayim.
No, not how it is written here. It should be technically pronounced as
technically, if we take it
Birushalayim.
Birushalayim.
Yeah, bet followed by Hirak, then Yod with Shiva, and that Shiva will be a silent Shiva. All right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good. So, B Rushalayim. This is how we should pronounce. But since Yod is the initial consonant with simple vocal Shiva, unexpected changes will take place. Okay, if you remember this principle, whenever you come across Yod followed by simple vocal Shiva, there will be some major change what you are learning now. The point is, technically it should be B Yerushalayim. But what happens in the course of time, the Shiva, the silent Shiva underneath Yod will disappear. When the silent Shiva under Yod disappears, the Yod will lose its consonantal value.
It becomes the vowel.
Exactly. Very good. So Yod will lose its consonantal value because the previous letter is carrying Hirak. So that Yod and Hirak will join together and form Hirak Yod.
Hirak Yod.
Yeah. So this is the outcome which I have presented on the slide. So it will be pronounced as Birushalayim. So when you read, see, please understand the grammar that we are learning is to understand how it appears in the Hebrew Bible. You are not going to write any new verses. The verses are already there in the Hebrew Bible. The grammar has been formulated in order to understand why it is appearing like this. What is
Okay,
the
sir.
way how the verb, noun, and other things are appearing. All right. So if you look at this Birushalayim in the Hebrew Bible, you should immediately understand that okay, it is a combination of inseparable preposition and a noun.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the same way with Yehuda, Judah. Okay. Yehuda also, initial consonant is Yod followed by simple local Shiva. So it becomes Bihuda. Instead of becoming Bihuda, it becomes Bihuda because of this change. This will exclusively happen when the initial consonant of a noun is Yod followed by simple local Shiva, and when we prefix the inseparable preposition, this outcome will be there. All right, but this is not the case for all the words that are appearing with simple local Shiva. Right? This is exclusively for if
Yod
the
and
initial, exactly, if the initial consonant is Yod followed by simple local
Shiva.
Shiva.
Simple.
Okay, so this is the second rule. The first rule is written as it is without any change. Before the consonants, it can be either a guttural or non-guttural, but it should carry a full vowel. The second rule is before the initial consonant with simple local Shiva, the Shiva underneath the inseparable prepositions will be converted into Irak, and the initial vocal Shivas of the consonants, initial consonants will become silent Shiva. Exceptional case when Yod is followed by a simple vocal Shiva, Shiva underneath Yod will disappear, Yod will lose its consonantal value, it will join with the Hirak and become Hirak Yod.
Yod.
Yes. Okay. Then another simple rule. If the initial consonant is a guttural with compound Shiva, what type of inseparable preposition or what type of vowel the inseparable prepositions will carry? Very simple. If the initial consonant is a guttural with Hatef Patta, Patta will be the vowel underneath any inseparable preposition. If the initial consonant is a guttural with Hatef Segol, Segol will be the vowel under the inseparable preposition. If Hatef Kamats is there, Kamats Hatuf will be there. Okay, these are the examples. So let me read them for you. Ka Asher Be'emet Lo Holy. It's not La Holy, but it is Lo Holy because it is short O class vowel.
Pamatsotu.
Hatu. Okay, now we have to brush up our method rules. Can you see the method rules applied here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is that? Method will be placed, placed along with
For a
short
short
vowel
vowel.
before the compound Shiva.
Compound Shiva.
Exactly. All right. So in 90%, 99 places we will see that. Okay. So according to which, so the basic word here is Asher. Emet, truth. Be-emet, in truth. Lo holy. Holy is sickness. Lo holy, for sickness. Okay. Yes. Now, in this rule also, there is an exception. Okay. For example, if the initial consonant, this is applied for only for some words, not for all words, because you see here, Aleph with Hatef Segol, Bet is carrying Segol. But for some words, for example, Elohim, okay, Elohim should technically have Segol underneath the inseparable preposition. So
Preposition.
it has to be Le Elohim. Le Elohim. Okay. But what is the outcome here? Can someone read?
Leholim.
Lelohim.
Elohim.
Lelohim.
Very
Elohim.
good. Very good. Lelohim. Lelohim. Okay. Okay, fine. Now let me explain to you why this is happening. Okay. So technically it should be Le Elohim, but what happens in the course of time? Hatef Segol underneath Aleph disappears. When Hatef Segol underneath Aleph disappears, only Segol under the Lamed will be present. But since Aleph is a guttural and there is no vowel, the short vowel, that is Segol, should be lengthened. And because of the lengthening only, Segol has become Sere.
Sere.
Yeah, so Sere is a long vowel. So it becomes
Lelohim.
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 Exactly. So for God. So when you come across a word like this in the Hebrew Bible, you have to understand that it has gone through this process. That is why the Hatef Segol under Aleph is missing, and Segol has become Sere under Lam. This is the same thing with Emor. Emor means to say or saying. So Le Emor has become Lemor, to say or say. Okay. So this is part of the third rule. So the third rule is before initial consonants with compound or composite Shivas, the inseparable preposition will carry the corresponding vowel. When I say corresponding vowel,
It will
Hatef
carry
Pata means Patta. Hatef Sekol, Sekol. Hatef Kamet, Kamet Satu.
Satu.
But this exception you have to keep in mind. Elohim, it's not Le Elohim, but Lelohim. Emor, it is not Le Emor, it is Lemor. Okay. Now, another challenging part has come. What is this challenging role? Already in the last class, we have learned about the definite article. Okay. So how to add inseparable prepositions to a noun, which is a definite noun? Or in other words, how to add inseparable preposition to a noun which is already carrying a definite article. Okay, so that we will see. Okay. Ish, a man. It is an indefinite noun. Okay. Underneath that, if you see Ha-ish, the man, it is a definite
Definite
noun. Right hand side, if you see La-ish, okay, La-ish. This the first rule for the inseparable preposition is applied here. Okay, La-ish. And then you see La-ish. Okay, so now let me explain to you. Look at the word ish, a man. It is an indefinite noun. Le-ish, for a man. Ha-ish, it is a noun with a definite article. Okay, so now this ha-ish is becoming la-ish, and I would say that this la-ish is carrying both definite article as well as inseparable preposition. You may ask me, how do I know that it carries both inseparable preposition as well as definite article? So this is how it happens. When an inseparable preposition is prefixed to a noun which is already determined or which is already carrying a definite article, then what happens? The definite article elements are He, Pata, Dagesh, Pote, right? So the He from the definite article will disappear. And what will be placed in the place of He? The inseparable preposition. Okay, so the consonant of the inseparable preposition will be placed in the place of He. The remaining elements of the definite article, like Patta and Dagesh Pote, they will appear as it is. So that is what you see here. So if you look at this word, La-ish, Lamat is indicating that it is carrying an inseparable preposition. Kamats underneath Lamat is an indication that it is carrying a definite article. And according to this Ish rule, initial consonant with Aleph, you know the definite article is only He followed by Kamats without Dagesh Pote. Okay, now we will see examples with Dagesh Pote. Berit, a covenant. Kibrit, according to a covenant. Okay? Ha Berit, the covenant. Ka Berit. So if you see here, Pata is the indication of definite article, and also the Dagesh Pote in Bet is also an indication of definite article. Do you understand? Patta as well as Dagesh Pote. Only thing which is missing here is the He. So in the place of He, you have the consonant of the inseparable preposition. Okay. So now when you pronounce, it is no more a silent Shiva. You understand? Why it is no more a silent Shiva? Please tell me.
The Shiva under a doubled letter is always vocal.
Fantastic. Another rule can also be applied here. What is that rule? Madam Geeta, can you remember, or anyone else? There is another rule is also here.
So this rule is regarding that Dagesh Lene.
Yeah.
Before the Sheva, if it carries a vowel, full vowel, then it is a vocal Sheva.
No. Let me explain. Here the point is about Dagesh Pote. Okay, so already Brother Manoj said that this Shiva is a vocal Shiva because a Shiva under a doubled letter is always a vocal Shiva. That is right, 100%. In another way also, I can confirm whether this is a Dagesh Pote or Dagesh Lene. How?
When it begins, no, when
Dagesh Lene before.
Once again, please, Manoj.
When it has a full vowel before.
Exactly. Fantastic. So if the initial if the previous letter is carrying a vowel, full vowel, then this dot will be a Dagesh Pote, not Dagesh Lene. All right. So this is like cross-checking with many rules. Okay. So a Shiva
Also, the
underneath
first
the double.
vowel is also having Dagesh Lene, no?
Which one?
The first one, first consonant is also carrying a Dagesh Lene.
Yeah, that is normal.
Yeah, so the second one cannot be the Dagesh Lene anyway.
Exactly. Yes, that is also another rule. Okay, so this is the rule of Brother Manoj. Yeah, that is right. What you have said is right. Okay, so why we are learning the rules actually in order to apply when we read. Okay, so when we read, we have to apply all these rules. Then only we will understand. All right. Okay. So please take it into consideration that the Hebrew course that we are offering is not about more interpretation, but it is more about the grammar, right? How to read the text, how to understand the text, which is more important than actually giving interpretations and explanations for the letters and words, which is not necessary at this moment or in the beginning stage of our language course. All right. Okay. Another example for this. Hekal. Okay. Be hekal. Ha hekal. Ba hekal. Okay. So look at the last word. Ba hekal. Okay. Mm, okay. Professor Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are very good at analyzing. So this ba hekal, what is the analysis of this word? What are all the elements that you see in this word?
So Bahekal
Yeah.
is the prefix bet with Shiva in, followed by Hekal, which hasn't changed. So that's not definite. But when we get Bahekal, then we've got the prefix, we've got the vowel corresponding to the definite article, and then Hekal. So it's in the temple, definite article as well as the prefix.
Fantastic. So friends, this is how we have to analyze a word. Okay, so we have learned definite article prefixed to a noun. We have learned inseparable prepositions along with the definite article prefixed to a noun. And later on, we will also see verb conjunction prefixed to a noun. Okay, and then later on, we will see pronominal suffixes. Okay, my temple, your temple, like possessive pronouns. So pronominal suffixes attached to the nouns, suffixed to the nouns, not prefixed but then suffixed. So the beauty of a Hebrew word is like you can dissect it. You can see that there are number of elements which will be there. In the noun you will have suffixes, so many prefixes will be there, and that's how we have to analyze. So it is not like English or other modern languages, like you write each and every word separately, but in a particular word you can come across a definite article, preposition, inseparable preposition, suffixes, so on and so forth. All right. So in the next class we will be discussing about the separable prepositions. So when we learn about inseparable prepositions, definitely there will be quite a number of separable prepositions. All right. The last rule: when an inseparable preposition is prefixed to a tone syllable of a noun or a monosyllable. Okay, so please take note of this: either tone syllable or monosyllable. When I say monosyllabic word, that means that that word will carry only one syllable, or in other words, that word will carry only one vowel. Ad, only pata is there. Berit, only pata is there. Sorry, only one vowel is there. Okay, but now here if you see, if an inseparable preposition is prefixed to a monosyllabic word or a tone syllable. Monosyllabic word means single syllable with one vowel. Tone syllable means if the initial syllable is accented. Here you see that the initial syllable is accented with munna, mayim, okay, water. So exclusively the inseparable prepositions will be prefixed along with kamats instead of shiva. Okay, when this happens, when a word is a monosyllabic word, or if the initial syllable is the tone syllable, if the first syllable is the tone syllable. So that's why it is written clearly here: when an inseparable preposition is prefixed to a tone syllable of a noun or accented syllable. When I say tone syllable or single syllable, when it comes to single syllable, that is the tone syllable because only one syllable is there. When I particularly say accented syllable or tone syllable, that means the initial consonant will be accented, or the initial syllable will be accented. Okay, mayim. So la mayim, la at. So to eternity, to water. So here you should not misunderstand and think that okay, this comets is referring to definite article. No, not at all. All right. You have to see that this is okay, it's a monosyllabic word. Okay, or the inseparable preposition is attached to a tone syllable. So only when you understand in this manner, you will know, okay, that's why the inseparable preposition lamat is carrying comets. All right. So this is the last rule. So what we have learned today, these are the three inseparable prepositions. The inseparable prepositions are written as it is before the consonants that carry, okay, that carry full vowel. The initial consonant can be either guttural or non-guttural, doesn't matter. Second rule, inseparable prepositions will be written with erect when they appear before a consonant with simple vocal shiva, and ultimately that simple vocal shiva will become silent shiva. An exceptional rule is there for yod followed by simple vocal shiva when it begins the word. And inseparable prepositions will be written with a corresponding vowels when the initial consonant is guttural, with compound or composite shiva. When I say corresponding vowel, atef pata pata, atef segol segol, atef kamets kamets atef. But words like Elohim or Emor becomes Lelohim or Lemor because of the dropping of Hatef Segol, and the short vowel that is Segol will be lengthened.
Sorry.
Then, when an inseparable preposition is prefixed to a noun which is already carrying a definite article, the he will disappear, or in the place of he, the consonant of the inseparable preposition will appear, but the other elements of the definite article like pata or kamets or pata with dagesh will appear. And finally, inseparable prepositions will be prefixed before the monosyllabic words or tone syllable along with comets. Okay? And this should not be misunderstood as okay, the inseparable preposition is appearing with definite article. No, it is it is attached to a monosyllabic word or accented syllable. All right. So that's all for today. If you have any questions or clarifications with regard to this portion which we have covered today, or any other things that we have covered in the previous classes, you can utilize this time. If no questions are there, then we can conclude. I will send today's homework. Monday we will meet, again Wednesday we will meet, and then Thursday we will meet. All right. And then we will also find time to go through the homeworks that you have done.
Could I ask one question about syllables?
Yes, please.
I can't remember, but maybe a week ago or more, but if you have a long vowel and then a shiva and then another long vowel, when you divide up into syllables, does the consonant with the shiva belong automatically with the syllable before it or with the syllable after it, or how do you work that out?
Just a minute. I try to. Once again, can you just say your question? Very. Can you open the whiteboard and write down? Is it possible?
I can write on the chat.
Okay. No, write in the sense if you have an example.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I think it was one of the homework
Okay.
questions where we were trying to divide into syllables.
Okay. Can you just tell me when that homework was given? I will find out.
Hmm. I think it must have been week 3, class 6.
Okay.
Trying to work out which example it was.
Yes. Let me try to open that. Shall I project the homework?
Yes, yeah, week 3, class 6. I think it
Fine.
was probably question 2 and the first one where I think it's obvious, but
This is the one, right?
yes.
Okay.
Is that right?
Number 3.
No, number 2. Were we dividing
Okay.
into syllables in number 2?
Okay.
Yeah, so the first one, I think it's obvious that the
Can you read the word?
so it's tick-tove.
Yeah, tick-toe. Tick-toe. Yeah, tick-toe. The first syllable is tick and the second syllable is toe. And the shiva underneath the cuff is silent shiva. And no need of pronouncing it. So obviously this becomes a closed syllable.
Yeah,
Are
so
you there?
the
Yeah.
shiva will it always be attached to the syllable before? Is that how it always works? If it was a vocal shiva, would it still be attached to the syllable before?
This is not a vocal shiva, right?
In this case, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get a vocal shiva, can you get a vocal shiva in the middle of a word?
Yes.
And,
Yes. With the Dagesh
and-
forte.
uh,
For example, if you see here under 3, number 9, be deba be de be ri. Can you see number 9 here? Derek?
yes.
Here in this word, if you see in the middle of the word, you see bet with Shiva, bet with Dagesh forte, along with Shiva, right? Okay. So now, how you will revise this word?
So it must be badab, and then the bet gets divided in half.
Very good, fantastic. That's right.
And barim.
Yeah.
Or
Be
barim.
dab, beri. So the Shiva will appear only in the second bet.
Yeah, so it goes with the second syllable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the doubling is only for the letter, not for Shiva. And secondly, the Shiva will be placed only in the second letter. In the same way, if a doubled letter is carrying a vowel, when we divide them into syllables, the second duplicated letter only will carry the vowel. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Yeah. In the same way, number 6 here. Can you read number 6 here?
Debarti.
Very good, fantastic. So in this word, you see which in the middle of the word, Bet is carrying a dagesh forte. Right? So where dip bar T. That's how it is divided into 3 syllables. Where dip bar T.
T.
Yeah. All right. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, friends, if there are no other questions, then we can conclude. Thanks for your
So,
patience. Yes.
can I summarize the point that Dr. Eric asked? So, if there is a vocal Shiva in the middle, then the syllable that carries the vocal Shiva would be the next one, right?
Yeah,
the first
because
one will
they-
not carry the vocal Shiva because there will be a dagesh forte always.
Exactly. So the point here is, see, 2-3 things we have to understand from this. Number one, the letter is doubled, so the same letter will appear twice, right? And if it carries a vocal Shiva, always vocal Shiva will be beginning a word, right?
Beginning the next
So
syllable.
it cannot appear in the first letter.
First
Yeah, that's
syllable.
the point. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, friends. Thank you so much for your patience. Good night.